All right, everybody, how's it going? It is Tuesday, September 7th, 2021, and of course, this is the beginning of the regular season, so hello, we've made it. The wait is over. It's finally here. The regular season kicks off this Thursday. Of course, it's the Cowboys and the Bucs, so we have the Cowboys and the Bucs, Brady returning champions, the same team from last year. A lot of excitement in this week. A lot of good games this weekend. There's, good primetime games. Bears Rams is so, I guess you could say. But hey, it gets better. There's good games all throughout the day Sunday. So let's get into it. Last season in Pick'em, we went 165, 90, and 1 with one team tying. I believe that was the Eagles and Bengals. Yeah, there we are. Week 1 NFL Pick'em. Basically we use the lines. We put lines on here. If you are to gamble and use this as like gambling stuff. This is from FanDuel and stuff like that. Gamble responsibly and all that, and also use other sources. Don't just use me as like your sole source to get information from. I do rather well. Fade me on a couple picks. Someone said they had one of the best years they've ever gambled. So just remember, just look to other places as well. This is just my opinion. What do I know at the end of the day? So week 1 NFL Pick'em, let's jump into it. Thursday night football. Oh boy, I've missed football so much. All right, we've got the Dallas Cowboys heading down to Tampa to play the Bucs. Obviously, they were going to play down there. Since it's the first game and they don't have records, I put their last year record. The Cowboys win 6-10. The Bucs win 11-5, and of course won the Super Bowl. Bucs are 7.5 point favorites with an over/under of 52. I have the game at 51 points, if that means anything to anybody, and I have the Buccaneers winning 30-21. I think with the Cowboys having a few offensive line issues early in the season, that's probably going to be a bit of a struggle playing a team like Tampa that's very complete, running back the same team. It's the same scheme, the same team, the same very dangerous defense that emerged at the end of last season. So it's kind of one of those things of Tampa's the worst team you want to play the first, 4 to 5 weeks of the season if you don't have your team set. Like if you're playing this team the first 4 to 5 weeks and your team has like new things that aren't quite clicking, things seem a little rusty, you're probably going to get run off the field by this Tampa team. It'll kind of straighten out as the season goes along for the Bucs. But like early on, they're gonna be a nightmare to play just because the continuation, the sameness, everything is basically the same. So it's going to be difficult for a team like Dallas, who's, you got Dak coming back. You got a few. They're very same, but you have new coaching situations with the defense. How's that going to work against a very well-tuned offense? A defense that struggled last year also, despite having good players. How's the secondary look now? A pretty rough secondary for Dallas. So they're probably going to give up points. I could see Dak and the offense staying in this game. But again, Tampa has a very good defense that's going to be all over an offense, which usually takes like a week or two to get going, and defense seems to dominate early in the regular season. So that's why I'm kind of leaning on Tampa. They have a pretty good defense on top of a fucking loaded offense. Where Dallas has also a loaded offense, I don't necessarily trust their defense, and like with Tampa being basically the same team, I think they're going to be a lot less rusty than a lot of other teams, kind of like how the Chiefs start off, because they pretty much run the same team every year. So, I don't know. That's why I like the Bucs over the Cowboys. Plus, Brady has like a blood feud with the Cowboys because he grew up a 49ers fan, so he views them as like the mortal enemy. So, there's also that, And plus, they're going to want to put on a show. Get to Thursday night teams at home, they do pretty well. So I'll take the Bucs. We'll be live reacting to this game. So let's move on. We got more games to do. This is a hot mess game that not a lot of people care about, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time discussing. It's going to be cool because it's the Jaguars playing the Texans in Houston. The Jaguars went 1-15 last season, and the Texans 4-12. The Jaguars actually open as 2.5 point favorites with an over/under of 44.5. I got the Jags winning. I think the Texans are throwing in the towel already this season. I don't think they care. I think they want the number 1 pick. I think eventually they'll be trading Deshaun to get more number 1 picks for that draft. This season to them is all about acquiring new players in a draft that's coming up. For the Jaguars, I think they're going to go try-hard mode. I think they're going to be very, very aggressive in this game and barely pull it off. But I do think they have a very underrated I don't know why I think their defense is going to be like decent this year, but I mean that remains to be seen. I have this sneaky suspicion they're going to be a lot better on defense, especially up on like the defensive front, like the front seven. than people think they could be. So we'll see how that plays in this game. But I don't really have much to decide. I mean, I'm excited for Lawrence's debut and versus Tyrod Taylor. I mean, that's a game. This will be a pretty cool one. The Los Angeles Chargers versus the Washington football team. Two surprise teams from last season, the rise of Justin Herbert and the Washington winning the division despite not having a team name. The Chargers open out as 1-point favorites with an over-under of 44.5. Again, these lines are all from FanDuel. In this game, I actually kind of like Washington getting the upset win. I don't really like to say it's an upset when you're at home and you're like the same record and it's only 1 point. So I don't know. I like football team winning this game. One of the reasons, and I think the main because I think Chargers have a better offense. Washington probably has a better defense. And it's not that far away for Washington having a better defense. Washington might have a surprise offense early on in the season because typical with Ryan Fitzpatrick or Fitzmagic as everyone likes to call him, he does very well early in the season, then kind of falters off as it seems to progress. That seems to be the trend with him anyway. So they'll probably be and they got those two receivers, Curtis Samuel and Terry McLaurin. So they got good receivers. So we'll see how it all plays out, right? They got good running situation, a developing running situation. So we'll see how their offense looks. The Chargers might be a little rusty because they didn't play anybody all preseason to prevent injuries. So and some of their guys haven't played in a couple seasons because of injuries. So we'll see how everybody looks. I also think the biggest factor in this game is Washington is going to be the coaching situation, right? I don't think the Chargers are a bad team whatsoever, but I think early in the season with a whole new situation, because, they just moved on from Lynn, new offense, new defense, new this, new that. While I think the Chargers will be good later on in the season, I think they struggle early, and running into a defense as good as the Washington football team early like this, not exactly going to make for the best outcome for a team like the Chargers, who's good. They're developing a new situation, going to have to, full game speed now. Washington's going to really bring it. Chase Young could be a menace in this one. Young versus Slater again, that'll be kind of exciting, right? But we'll see. I like the Washington football team to win 24-21. Another good game this week will be the Seahawks playing the Colts. This is a really good game. Early, the first game of the season, we have the Seahawks playing the Colts in Indianapolis. It'll be Wentz's debut, I believe. He's going to play in that game. The Seahawks went 12-4, Colts 11-5. Seahawks are 2.5-point favorites with an over/under of 49.5. I don't necessarily know if I like the Seahawks defense yet. We'll see if it's improved from last season. They started to look a little bit better at the end of last season. And I don't know why. I feel like Carson Wentz with Frank Reich is going to look a lot more like the old Carson Wentz we used to know in, the one that was when he's healthy, he's good. But now it's I think the resurgence starts early, and I think they're going to be quite comfortable with one another. It's the same offense they were probably running in Philadelphia when he was, killing the game. Well on his way to an MVP before he got hurt. Story of Carson's life. But hey, he's healthy. He should be good to go. The Colts have a pretty good offensive line and pretty good system of receivers. They've got a good running game. They've got a good defense that could frustrate a team like Seattle that, I don't know. I feel like Seattle could stumble out of the gate just because I don't really know how good their O-line is going to play. I have major questions about that. I think the receiving game is going to be next level. That's what's going to make this this is going to be an exciting game of fireworks, I think. Is because of the fact that it's Russell Wilson and his receivers. That's why I have them in this game so hard. But I inevitably think that the Seahawks defense is what dooms them. Now, I could be wrong. This is one of the games where I'm fairly certain I'm going to be wrong about. But, this is one of the ones where I'm you should probably fade me on this one. I'm probably wrong. But I like the Colts winning. It's also the home factor. I like to put, I don't know, early in the season, it's the best to go with home teams, right? I don't know. Plus, I'm just, I'm kind of feeling Carson Wentz back with his old OC. I think that's a bigger deal. All right, well, it's the Jets playing the Panthers. This is a game not many people will care about unless you're a Jets and or a Panthers fan. You could be fans of both teams, I think. I don't really think that'd be weird. You got the Panthers -5, who they're the favorites, over under a 45.5. Jets went 2-14, Panthers 5-11. Not much difference in the way that they played last year. The major question for me is the Panthers defense. The Jets defense, how's Zach Wilson going to look in a full-speed NFL game? How's Robert Saleh going to do as a head coach? There's so many questions for the Jets right now. Like, how's the offense going to look with the rookie? How's the very young, like, brand new pieces all over? How's the defense going to look? With, it's just, there's so many questions with this situation. It's hard to be like, oh yeah, the Jets are going to win this game. So I can't pick them. And it's not that I don't think that the Jets could be a good little team this year that could upset some teams. I think early in the season, till they get kind of established by like week 3, week 4, with Salah, with Wilson, with everything, I think they're going to stumble and kind of look kind of clumsy. And I think the Panthers are going to look. I think this is the revenge game for Sam Darnold, by the way. I think he's going to try to kill this is a game that they have circled as like a very important game for the Panthers for Sam Darnold. So and it's at home, it's in Carolina. I think Sam's going to try to put on a show for his new team against his old team to kind of like spite them that they gave up on him. So yeah, I do think that this is a Panthers win. If this was later in the season, I might consider the Jets in it, but I think this is just one of those inopportune timing games where, the Jets early in the season might be the easiest team to play, one of the easier teams to play. But by about week 4, I think they'll mold into more of what they're going to look like in a couple of years. They're a team in the making. I don't really think anything too negatively about them. This one I don't have much to say other than the Bengals don't have an offensive line. And they're going to probably get smoked on because of that. It's the Vikings playing the Bengals. Vikings are only 3-point favorites, but that's probably because I think the way that line's, I don't know, I feel like that should be like 6 or 7 points, but hey, whatever. I guess it's the lack of understanding about what Dalvin Cook's going to do to that defense without Carl Lawson up the middle, but hey, whatever. Vikings, again, we already said that. 48 is the over-under. Vikings 7-9, 4-11-1 for the Bengals. I think Burrow will play all right, but again, it's the offensive line that'll doom them. I do think that was a mistake drafting Jamar Chase instead of Sewell or Slater. You could have took either one, and they would have made your line infinitely better. I don't know, man. I think the Vikings have a dangerous front seven, and I think their secondary's improved mightily. We've seen it over the course of the last 2 seasons get better and better. Last year was kind of a weird year for them. I don't know how the Bengals are going to deal with Justin Jefferson, and I believe Thielen's going to still play. And Dalvin Cook. There's just so much that this Bengals team isn't prepared for. I got the Vikings winning quite handily, 26-14. I don't know if the Bengals are like not that bad, but it's just like that offensive line is so horrendous. I don't really know how they're gonna. That's gonna. I really hope Joey doesn't get hurt again. This is gonna be a shootout. I really don't see defense really mattering in this game. This is going to be a fun game. The Cardinals play the Titans in Tennessee. I'm going to try to speed it up a little bit here. There's just a lot of good games to talk about this week. There's only a couple snoozers. We got the Cardinals, who were 8-8 last year, and the Titans 11-5. Titans are 3-point favorites with an over-under of 52.5. Even them are predicting quite a high score. I'm predicting a shootout, just straight shootout between these two teams. I think defense is going to be damned. I think Hopkins could have a big game. I think that Julio Jones or A.J. Brown could have a big game. Derrick Henry could have a big game. It's just, you just could think about the numerous people. Kyler Murray, it's just Ryan Tannehill. This is just all the makings of a shootout because, to be fair to these two teams, their defenses are okay, but they're not like the best defenses. Chandler Jones is pretty good. You got some good players on the Titans that I can't name off the top of my head. But like, I don't know, and that's my fault. That's my fault for not knowing more of their defenses. But again, these are teams based on their offenses. Look how good the Titans' offense is. Look at all the star players they have. Look how good the O-line, running back, quarterback has played. Look how good the receivers are. Look how good the offensive situation is for Arizona. They've been improving the offensive line. They got some receivers. They've got very good receivers for Kyler. It's the whole thing. And it's a very offensive friendly system in Arizona. So yeah, this is gonna be a shootout. That's really all I have to say. I think the Titans are a little bit more experienced, a little bit better coached. So I like them in the shootout. So give me the Titans. Plus, I trust their defense, I think, a little more. There's not really much to say in this game because it's not really fair. The 49ers play the Lions in Detroit. The 49ers, due to injuries, went 6-10. Lions went 5-11 due to Matt Patricia. Everything for the Lions is brand new against a team that is going to be very, very aggressive and ready to show people that they are not the same team they were last year. So This could be a bad game because I don't know what the Lions offense is going to look like against the 49ers defense. They could just get destroyed. I forgot how Goff plays against the 49ers, and I should have looked that up. That's on me. But, like, I really don't know if that matters. It's a whole new offense, whole new system, whole new defense. The Lions could get shredded by the 49ers in this game, though it's a lot like the other new teams that are like new situations for teams. I think that like that little weirdness gets over by about week 3, but the Lions are going to be another team that's so easy to play the first few weeks of the season. I hope I'm wrong on that one, though. Steelers Bills, another potential candidate for look how many good games there are this week. Steelers playing the Bills. The Bills went 13-3. Steelers went 12-4. Bills are 6.5-point favorites with an over/under of 48.5. I have the Bills winning, but not by that big of a margin. I have it 28-24. I do think the Bills will win. I think their offense is going to be very hard to stop, very potent. No TJ Watt is the major decider in this one if he doesn't play. If they don't have TJ Watt, I think the Bills can win this game, and that's basically what this is decided upon. But if it was the other way around, I could actually see the Steelers getting an upset. They're a very well coached team. So are the Bills. They're a very veteran laden team. The Bills pretty experienced as well. And I see the Steelers as a team that's going to play very well early, then dip off. Repeat last year for them. And the Bills I see just being a pretty much similar repeat last year for them. Same kind of team. All right, last 1 o'clock game. I have one simple rule here on the channel. We don't pick the Atlanta Falcons, so I picked the Eagles to win 31-28. Go Birds, I guess. Screw the Falcons. They're a loser team, and I don't care if I get that one wrong. 4 p.m. continued, or wait. It's 4 p.m. games. Another really good game that's going to take a couple minutes. I'm going to have to condense it because we're running almost at 17 minutes here, and I want to keep this under like 22 minutes. So, all right, so... If you guys like them long form, just let me know. But okay, so we've got the Browns and the Chiefs. The Browns went 11-5, 14-2 for the Chiefs. They played that epic playoff game that Chad Henne snuck around and got a first down on. Poor Browns. The Chiefs open up as a huge favorite, 6.5 points with an over/under of 52.5. Give me the Browns in an upset on the fact that I think the Chiefs' new offensive line is going to hamper them maybe one game, maybe two. Playing this team is the worst team for Kansas City to play this early in the season due to the fact that the offensive line is basically brand new. And it's going to take like a game or two for that to set in at a full speed, like a full real NFL speed game. And that Browns front seven is just a nightmare. Clowney and Garrett against a line that's not fully set in yet. Oh boy, that's going to be that. That's going to tilt the game in the Browns' favor, in my opinion. I really can't believe that's not being more considered. I've talked to a couple Chiefs fans, and I know that they're a little bit worried about this. I think Mahomes and company will play fine, but the problem is, I wonder about that offensitive line, and I wonder how the Chiefs are going to respond to Hunt and Chubb running, and the fact that Odell's going to be back, and they got Jet Landry, and they've got their tight ends. Like this Browns team is going to be difficult to play. Especially we'll see how this plays, but I do think the major flip in this is going to be the Browns defense and the Chiefs offensive line. So give me the Browns in an upset, I guess. Really wouldn't call it an upset. Similar situation for the Saints here, and why I think the Packers will win pretty handily. The Packers went 13-3. Saints went 12-4. I like the Packers. The Packers are 4-point over under 50. The main reason I'm not picking the Saints is, again, they just lost Drew Brees, no Michael Thomas. There's major questions for how the offense is going to look in a game against one of the elite teams in the NFC and the Green Bay Packers, who are pretty much going to be the Green Bay Packers. We know what they are. It's Aaron Rodgers. It's the same team. It's with some new guys in there that make the team a little bit better. And yeah, I mean, Matt LaFleur seems to be a competent regular season coach so far. I think he's 26-6 as a head coach. So not really much to criticize, not really much to talk about here. Seems that the Packers will probably beat the Saints, especially since we don't know how Jameis is going to look in a regular season game at the helm of the offense, and we don't really know how the Saints offense is going to function without Michael Thomas, with a few new pieces as well. So we'll see. I've just Saints receiving corps seems kind of thin right now. We'll see how it actually looks when the games kick off and with Jameis throwing it. So again, give me the Packers in that one though. Another game with not a lot to talk about. It's the Broncos playing the Giants in New Jersey technically. Broncos are 2.5-point favorites with an over/under of 41.5. 5-11 versus 6-10. Broncos 5-11, Giants 6-10 last year. I think both of these teams are defensive teams with like game managing offenses. I think Teddy's a little bit more of a playmaker than the Daniel Jones is. I think the Broncos have a little bit better of an offense based on they're so equal on offense. I have to look at their defenses and go, I think the Broncos secondary is going to make more of an impact on this game than the Giants defense will. And I also think that Chubb and Vaughn wreak havoc on this game too, because I don't really trust the Giants offensive line. I think Vaughn's going to be a menace. And I also think Bradley Chubb's going to be quite a nightmare for the Giants to deal with. So we'll see. Give me the Broncos in this one, though. A game, only their fans care about. Here's the game of the year. Here's game of the week. I can already tell you this is going to be the game of the week. Miami Dolphins play the Patriots up in Foxborough. The Dolphins went 10-6 last season. Patriots 7-9. Patriots are 3 points favorites with an over/under of 43.5. I've got the Patriots winning because, number one, obviously, Patriots fan and everything. But also, I just like the Patriots defense in this game. I don't trust the Miami Dolphins offensive line. I think the Patriots might even score a couple touchdowns based on the way that their defense has been able to play, especially based on the way they played last year, where we've only added in Matthew Judon, Hightower, and Van Noy back. Like so many guys are back, and just like, this is going to be one very scary defense for teams to play. Once people realize, like, oh shit, they've acquired quite a defense, especially that linebacking and secondary, that everyone seems to think we just don't have one. And I have questions about how Miami's offensive line is going to play, what their defense is going to look like after they got rid of so many guys. They kept Howard, but like what about all the other things that have happened and like all the other players that are gone? Like they lost Van Noy, like they lost their safety. I get it. You got guys to replace them, but it's also like, man, that could be weird. And it also seems like these two teams split home. So like later in the season, I'll pick the Dolphins to win in Miami. So just so you're aware, I'm not just doing this out of bias. This is a split series usually. So give me the Patriots at home. Mac Jones debut. They're going to go all out to try to win this game. So give me the Patriots 27-20 in a really good game, by the way. Really good game, more than likely. Sunday Night Football, we've got a pretty good game that I think the Rams are just going to probably destroy the poor Bears in. We've got the Bears playing the Rams, obviously. 8-8 for the Bears, 10-6 for the Rams. Rams debut of Matthew Stafford, who knows the Bears defense quite well. Rams are 7.5-point favorites with an over/under of 45. The major difference in this is the Bears offensive line and Andy Dalton. I don't really think Andy's that great of a quarterback, but I really think their offensive line is like dirt bad. And that's part of the reason why I don't think they want to throw Justin Fields out there against Aaron Donald and company, because the Rams they're gonna just run through this Bears offense. So like give me the rally. I mean, there's not much to talk about here. If the Bears pull a shock upset, I'd be stunned. But like, I could see the Rams scoring a couple of times on defense in this one. Just getting through and knocking the ball out of Andy's hand. Ramsey getting a pick or two. Like this could I don't really. I got the Rams. Monday Night Football, what do we got? We got the Ravens and the Raiders. Could be a pretty classic game. I like the Ravens winning. Oh, wait, hold on. Ravens-Raiders, they're playing in Las Vegas. It'll be 11-5 versus 8-8. Ravens are 4.5-point favorites with an over/under of 51. I've got the Ravens winning. I don't really know what the Raiders' defense is going to look like. I don't really know what their offense is going to look like either. There's so many question marks with the Raiders. Like, until you see them play in the regular season, you kind of don't know what you're getting, right? Because they're kind of like a sweat team in the preseason because of who Gruden is. Every game matters kind of guy. Then with the Ravens, they're kind of like a similar team. So both of them look good in the preseason, so it's kind of hard to get a read on them because other teams aren't playing as hard as they are for whatever reason, and yada, yada, yada. I don't know. I feel like Baltimore is going to be just like the same old Baltimore Ravens as always. Hard to beat, hard to stop on offense. And I just don't trust the Raiders defense. So give me the Ravens 24-20. In a game, I'm not that excited for this. Last season again, 165-91. That's all the picks for this week. I'm going to try to keep this brief. Let me know what you think of the picks down below. I'll be sure to comment on them. We can keep track of each other's picks records. We do a game here. You leave your picks, I leave mine. We comment back and forth. yada yada, and so on and so forth. Subscribe to the channel for more picks all year, for more predictions videos and all those fun things that you see on other NFL channels. We'll be covering games, live reacting to them, all kinds of crazy fun NFL content. That was really cringe. Sorry about that. But yeah, all that YouTube stuff. Subscribe, like, leave comments down below with your picks. I'll be sure to get back to you as soon as I can. Hopefully you have a good first week of picks. Hopefully I do as well. Hopefully your favorite team wins and all that fun stuff. And thank you so much for listening. If you listened all the way to the end, I appreciate that. And good luck this year. And I can't believe the regular season is finally here. Peace out. And all right, thank you. Bye-bye.